Hello, you beautiful people. These are my three non-clinical takeaways from the course I just attended at Hunter College in New York City. The course was on, it's called Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization. Basically, you don't fire a cannon from a canoe. And it was all about how to stabilize and activate the muscles of our core. And it made me think about those muscles and their attachments and their origins in a different way and their function in a different way, which was awesome. I loved it. So I'm not going to spare you with the clinical details because there's 1,000 of them. I'm going to give you my three takeaways from being around other providers. This was for physical therapists and occupational therapists. There was a Pilates instructor there. There were chiropractors there. I work alone here. I have colleagues and friends and lots of people who are in the field, but I don't get daily interaction with these types of people every day. The first thing was that there was one woman there. She's a physical therapist, and man, her energy just did not vibe with mine. Didn't vibe with mine. I am the last person to say like that's the worst whatever I've ever seen. That's dangerous. Stop doing that. That's just not me. If I see something that's like concerning, I'll say, hey, stop that. Don't love the way your hip is moving. Don't love the way your knee is moving. We're just going to adjust and adapt how we're doing that. This woman, we're watching one of our classmates squat, and she's like, stop. Look at what your knee is doing. Look at what your hip is doing. Look what you. She has a 2-year-old. She's squatting 1,000 times a day. Stop scaring this lady, right? That was my first thing, was like, oh my goodness. You got to find the provider who matches with you and understand that like some people, it takes all kinds of kinds. Some people vibe with that. I did not vibe with that. So understand that like you have options and that we are not all the same in that regard. Okay. Second clinical takeaway or non-clinical takeaway was there is nuance. There is so much nuance. And one of the things that I really liked about this continuing ed that you don't see often in physical therapy continuing ed is they were like, listen, everybody's different. This might work for some people. It might not work for others. You can have people who have had amputations. You can have people who have had spinal cord injuries or strokes. And some parts of some of these techniques might work for some of those people. But it was not this is good for everyone all the time in every way. Even though it was, the premise of it is fundamental developmental human anatomy. The premise of it was like, okay, what happens in the first 0 to 6 months of a person's life? How are they moving? How is their nervous system designed to help them move and survive and navigate in the world? And most of us are born with normal, healthy nervous systems. Most of us are not born with cerebral palsy or Down syndrome or Ehlers-Danlos or other genetic conditions that might affect how we move. Most of us are born with a highly functioning central nervous system and highly functioning musculoskeletal system. So the fact that this continuing ed did not say this works all the time for everyone in every population, like that was a good takeaway. If you find a clinician who's like, this works all the time for all my patients in all the ways, I would run the other way. Because they're not necessarily like a one-trick pony, but that's a dangerous way of thinking. To me, like that's a dull knife in your kitchen. It's a dangerous tool to have. We have to know what we don't know. We have to appreciate that there is nuance and that every body is different, and that our patients are people first, and everybody's been through something that might affect their relationship with a movement or a cue or a clinician. Okay, so that was the second thing, and then the third non-clinical takeaway is that there are so many different philosophies. There are so many schools of thought, and it takes a lot of work to find a provider who vibes with you. Okay, so those two things kind of combine, or this last one kind of combines those first two, but understand like you have to advocate for yourself. You have to find somebody who you trust, who you trust like knows their stuff, and who you trust can help you and can communicate that in a way that you understand. because the most important player in any rehabilitation program, in any exercise program, in any movement program, you're the most important player. And we as your providers have the GPS to get you from point A to point B, but you are in the driver's seat. And you got to find, some people use Google Maps, some people use Waze, some people use Apple Maps. I don't know. I use Google Maps. But I understand that there are options out there for people. You are the driver. Find someone who will help you comfortably and confidently get from point A to point B. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for spending your energy, your time, your attention, your effort with me today. Keep moving and keep getting better every day.